Hey everybody, what is up? Best ball pods are out. We have all the information, good or bad. We get to see where we're at one more day, and we get to see how much destruction happens to our portfolio on a Thursday night, just like last week. I think I'm going to do a wildcat draft to start, just to let people filter in. What's up? How we doing? Yeah, I hold on. Yeah, I'm going to log into a Wildcat here in just a second. Uh, and then I will go through my portfolio, entering right now on my phone. Uh, we got I did a little bit of looking at everything for the weeklies today. The more I look at it, the more I actually really like James Cook. I think James Cook is going to have a really good week. Maybe part of that's coping because I have way too much of him for the week in my best ball stuff. So hopefully my theory is correct. What's up, Jamie? How we doing? How we doing? Zero, Aaron, Sandy, Hartman, and Jamie. We're gonna do this one, and then I will jump into my portfolio and my matchups. I I'm a little upset at what happened with my two flocks. I feel like I might have got a bad, like really bad pods based on what I needed. There is supposedly a chance that he's going to play. He's getting projection right now, a couple places. Hey, I appreciate it, sir. I need to get a hold of you also on X at some point for some stuff. I plan because I know you do a lot of rookie stuff. Uh, I'm sure we will hook up at some point in the preseason. All right, so I think that there is a clear top three players this week. I think it's the three running backs. We got Achan, Robinson, and Gibbs. I'm kind of leaning towards Achan third right now and Bijan first. Um, but I just want an equal amount of all of them. Zero got in, by the way, at the 106. Schuster said 19 semifinals teams. Good luck. Nice. All right, 19 is 19. That's more than I got. I have 12 and then four on I have one on DK, but I have 12 and then four fourth quarters. Nick Chubb gonna have 30. Let's hope not. Let's hope that is not the world we're living in. I don't know how often James Cook plus Gibbs is going to be able to be gotten. So I'm definitely going to take this combination almost every time I'm allowed to. Cleveland defense has not been very good against the run over the last 3 weeks. So I don't think this is a good week for Josh Allen again. Last week I thought so, and I was correct. 2 weeks ago I was all in on Josh Allen, and that was correct. That doesn't mean I'm going to be right again, but I've been 2 for 2 the last 2 weeks on Josh Allen. This week I'm much more into Gibbs than Allen. Now, if Allen falls back, I'm absolutely taking both. Like I will absolutely do that. Need to. There we go. That looks a lot better. Oh, Beef Neck here. How are we doing, Beef Neck? Yeah, I figured he was autoing. We got so we got Gibbs, we got James Cook. I do like Drake London quite a bit this week if he plays. Do I want to do that though? I think I want to make sure to get Metcalf versus Gibbs with the James Cook here. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull Metcalf all the way up. So I also think there's a big cliff here at running back at about Chase Brown. So yeah, let's I start rookie. I'm gonna start my rookie scouting as soon as I can start finding things to watch. I'm gonna start my post like my pre-draft stuff as soon as week 17 starts or is over. Um, all right, so I don't like Bowers this week. The more I think about it, I don't know if I like Darren Waller. I was going to be overweight, but I don't know anymore with Quinn Ewers starting. That's pretty scary to me. I mean, it's Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers. So let's go with I think I think I'm going to go with Gadsden here. Um, how we doing, Doc? Hey, if you're just popping in, go ahead and smash the like. I would appreciate it. There is an argument that McBride could be really high this week. Um, I don't like any of the other tight ends on the slate very much, so it would make sense to do that. So we have, but the problem is that like I have him clearly at the 106. Like I think he's clearly a first round pick. I like Amon Ra over Jamar Chase, which sucks because you guys see I'm going against way more Amon Ra than I have this week. So if that happens, when I have to win money through the dailies instead, which I'm just probably just going to take Amon Ra over Chase this week. Then we got Pickens, like sometimes falls pretty wildly in these. I do think that it's a solid matchup for him or Lamb, maybe both. I do not. Oh, Captain Kirk. Which Kirk are we talking? Are we talking about Captain Kirk Cousins, or are we talking about Captain Kirk Christian Kirk? Which Captain Kirk are we talking about? No, Slot Demon. Got it. Um, yeah, I think I do. I think I believe in him. Not in this. I actually think that it could be a good Jaden Higgins week. Hey, what's up, Big Draft Energy? I'm doing one of these to let people filter in. I'm going to go through my portfolio here in a minute. So after I'm through my portfolio, I'm going to hopefully we're done at 5. I'm probably going to hop over onto Sleaze's channel. And then after that, I believe I'm going to head over to Big Draft Energy's channel. Haven't heard, but like Sleaze said something about it. I'm fairly sure Big Draft Energy would not care. Hedge everything with prop set bets. Or like it's either that you never lose or you always lose, right? Like you could look at it either way. Um, I think I like. I'll stay on the clock here. Take T Higgins. Got Herbert to Gadsden. Got the bring back with no head with Jameer Gibbs, DK Metcalf, and then a solo James Cook, solo T Higgins. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the portfolio stuff. All right, this is the first pod. Let me go ahead and set this up real quick. 9 minutes, 20 seconds. All right, so this is my super flex pod. It is wild that I got into a pod as the only Drake May team. It's a super flex pod. I have the only Drake May team, and there's only 2 Jared Goff teams. So I have a pretty clear out here with Drake May, Jared Goff. There's only 2 Jameer Gibb teams here as well. And the Jared Goff thing. So I have the Gibbs JMO and the other Goff has Amon-Ra. So it is a pretty clear sweat I have in this. We got Gibbs. Omarion Hampton is also the single Omarion Hampton share in the entire pod as well. So this team is probably getting first or last in the pod. This one feels like a pretty solid a run out for which pod that the team got put into. Yeah. Hey, thanks, sir. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. I looked at your I looked at yours at the beginning. You ended up 3 wide receiver. It was what, George Pickens? Because you took Pickens over Lamb. I forgot to run over your team. Sorry about that. But yeah, so we got Drake May with Steph Diggs and Demario Douglas. We almost ran out Kenny Pickett, but he apparently isn't going to play now. We ran kind of bad on the injuries here, but honestly, like we have ETN, James Cook, Hampton, Gibbs. I made a mistake taking Braylon Allen. I should have, or Trevor Etienne. I should have taken more running or wide receivers there. But we have Quentin Johnston, who may or may not play, Douglas, Pierce, Brown, Egbuka, Jamo, Diggs. So I basically need those 3 people to get 10 points apiece. One of them get 20, and then I will win elsewhere. And it's a solo Laporta or solo Colson Loveland team. Yeah, so like I got a pretty solid, like this is probably the best pod luck I got from just an overview standpoint. Let me bring up the next pod. For whatever reason, whenever I've been bringing these pods up, it is we'll go with the Pomeranian too. It's doing this and it's checking my location every time I bring up a pod, and it takes like 15 seconds. That was a German Shepherd, so it's 2 out of 12 advance as well. So I feel pretty solid about that one. That was the German Shepherd. Yeah, it's been kind of bad. This is a Pomeranian. It is 1 out of 10, and I'm heads up against our buddy FK Coolers here. At least we have clear sweats. He's got Chase Brown. Like, I like his team a lot. Like the Trey McBride, Bijan, Chase Brown feels really good. Ran into the DJ Moore luck with Rome being out. Devonta, like I like his team a lot. If his team, like, to be honest, if I don't get, I would like him to get out of this pod because I have my overall portfolio for the week is more in line with his team in this pod. And my portfolio is like the opposite of this. So I might advance multiple teams if Coolers advances out of this pod. It's kind of how it will be. But I like my team. The only 2 Jonathan Taylor teams. I'm also there's 2 CD Lamb teams, and there's 2 Josh Allen teams. It's crazy that both Josh Allen teams are the CD Lamb teams, but I much prefer the Jonathan Taylor to the Brock Bowers. We both have James Cook and Devonta Smith versus DJ Moore. Egbuka Golden could be fine if Watson is limited. Yeah, it is not. It's not helpful to be there. And on DK, it's like impossible to even look. I have the only Rico with 2 Bijan, Chase Brown, have the only Higgins. Very nice. Yeah, so I don't mind this one. Like I have a pretty clear bet here. This was a Pitts team. I don't really have any low owned things. Another Scatterboo team. It's pretty thin, honestly, because it's Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, and Tajay Spears only at running back. I mean, I guess Brashard could end up doing something, but I am not going to hold my breath that Brashard Smith gets there. So as far as like getting a pod that's winnable for the team I have, that one feels okay as well. Next is a German Shepherd 2. So the German Shepherd 2 is a 2 of 12 advance out of this pod. Waiting on that to load. So I'll keep that up. And in this pod, I do not have, there's nobody in there. All right. So, yeah. Yeah. He is drafter pass champ. And like, he's did well this year. So it makes sense, right? Like, if on average everyone likes the way you draft and then you're successful, maybe you're just a good drafter. You know, man, it feels so good to have like the only thing in a pod. Like here, I am the only AJ Brown, and there's only two Puka teams. So like this one feels fine as well. Uh, so if it's a Puka smash week and it's a 2 of 12 advance, I feel pretty good about this. Uh, so we got Puka, AJ Brown, Adams, RIP, Ridley, RIP. So I am missing two of my top 5 rounds. Uh, like I will, if it's not both of those players, I probably won't advance out of this at all because we got Golden, Jalen Noel, and AD Mitchell, which is fine, but not good. Uh, I believe there's a bunch of Drake May in this pod, but like James Cook and Travion is my path. All kinds of James Cook, but I need James Cook to cook uh, just to make sure I can get 2 startable running backs. And I'm the only Travion, or no, there's 2 Travion teams. So this pod doesn't actually seem that bad either. Time to look at the next pod, which will be the puppy pod. And I believe the puppy, yes, the puppy's 1 of 10. Friend of the channel, Off the Schneid, is in this pod as well. Shout out to Off the Schneid. He's really into best ball playoff stuff. He's going to start streaming here pretty soon again. I am not into best ball playoff stuff, so hopefully that's fine for you guys. I will probably start doing when drafters stuff launches, and after week 17, I'll probably do some because I feel like you need to know the matchups in the drafter style as well. Kind of wild to see the advancements jump for next week. Puppy 2 is a 30 time. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty big. So Off the Schneid has an absolute monster team in this pod, I believe. Bijan, Achan, Trey McBride, Metcalf, Jamo, Jacoby Myers. The problem is he just lost Kyler. He's got Dart though. So he's holding on to Dart, but he got Woody Marks in the last round plus Dowdle. Like his RBs are insane. He's got really solid wide receivers. My team, this is my Brian Thomas team, and it's one of my few CMC teams. CMC was going at like 13 at the beginning of the season. So that's how I got Brian Thomas and CMC, and then McMillan, Moore. But so this team it's very top heavy because I have CMC, Walker, Hendo, but then Giddens, Dobbins. Why did I take Giddens there? I have no idea why Giddens got drafted there. I must have had a Q error or something. I bet no, I think I remember. I think I queued him. Let me see something real quick. I don't know. I streamed this one, so I guess I could go back and see why. I don't know why, but that is a bad pick. That is just flat out a bad pick. I'm assuming it was Star Method, like the day after the schedule was released with Brian Thomas. So, but I basically need those three running backs to carry. It would be nice if Burton plays, but I think I could get there even without it. So this is the pod for that. The next pod is the Poodle. This was the one that I had a lot of hope for. And to be honest, I don't love the pod I'm in at all. It's a 1 of 5. I ended up in a pod with multiple other Puka teams, if I remember correctly, which feels really bad. I'm going against Puka in my head-to-head stuff too. So like, but Puka's one of my most owned players. Okay, no, that's not. Okay, this isn't the one that has a bunch of Puka in it. So if Puka smashes, I might be fine. Problem is that I really like Bijan this week a lot. I think that he, like I said, I think he could be the 101 in dailies. And I'm against two of them. And one of them has Bucky, who has a good matchup. The other one has Jonathan Taylor. But I am the only Josh Jacobs team, or no, there's two of us. Never mind. There's two of us. But I'm the only Chase Brown team. So that's my path. Chase Brown, George Pickens. But like once again, I draw a pod that I'm pretty live in. Also, we have two Dak Prescott teams. So I have direct leverage off of Pickens, off of the Pickens Dak with the May Pickens as well, or the Stafford Pickens. And I have the Stafford plus Puka combination. So, and this team is kind of exciting because I have Tutu Atwell. And Tutu Atwell, if I can get a Tutu Atwell team to the finals and Devontae Adams misses, I feel really, really good about that. So I'm projected to not like get last in this pod, I believe, by BBM DB. I'm not going to say I disagree, but I do have a clear path to first. Got a pool alive as well. Has Saquon, JT, and Jacob. That's awesome. Saquon has to feel really solid right now, right? Like he just had like against the Raiders this week has to feel really good. All right, here's one of my two flock contests, the head-to-heads. And by the way, I read this. I'm going over my best ball portfolio right now. I went over the weeklies yesterday. I made 4x last week. The week before, I was close to even. The week before that, I won a whole bunch. But yeah, the only thing I wanted in my flock pods was to not play against Puka because I know I have a bunch of Puka alive and I just didn't want to have in my head-to-head matchup an anti-sweat versus Puka, you know? So I'm a little upset that this happened. And when you get to the other pod, you'll see another thing I'm upset about. I do not like the two flock pods I got. I mostly because this one I have Puka that I'm going against. The other one I have Puka. And something else happened, but I was just hoping to avoid that one thing. And I would say it was like under a 25% chance or something for this to happen. So ran a little unlucky on that. But I love my team. Bijan, Jacobs, James Cook, really good. It does require T. Higgins to play. I haven't heard if he's going to play yet or not. But if he does, I have T, DJ Moore, Egbuka, Jacoby, which feels like I should be able to get 3 solid scores out of that. And these 3 running backs should definitely play. Clear outs here. I have obviously it's a heads up, but he's got Godwin. So if this game ends up being if Puka does well but not elite, Um, I may end up placing an anytime touchdown bet on Godwin to hedge a little bit, because I have Baker as well. So if I miss the anytime touchdown bet, I'm perfectly fine. And if Puka gets like under 25 points, I feel pretty live to win this pod. So I think that's how I'm going to play that. Geno Smith, I get Geno Smith back. Yeah. So I was talking about this pod yesterday. So it was at the 14-15 turn. I took both quarterbacks because people were pushing quarterback. Uh, and then I double stacked Bryce Young backwards. So in this pod, you need to be first overall, right? So because of that, I starved the room, and that's what got me out of that pod was starving that room at quarterback. I hurt two other teams doing that, and my team didn't get much worse because I had these running backs and I had a good basic at quarterback, and the team was absolutely cooking before Tucker Kraft got hurt. But luckily, he doesn't even have a tight end. I didn't notice that. He's solo tight end Tucker Kraft. So I actually feel really good about this, actually. I hadn't paid that much attention. That feels really good, actually. Which means that I'm gonna get beat somehow. So on to the other one. Yeah, he does feel solid for between 14 to 23 points. I don't think that he's going to be like 25, 30 points, but I think it's pretty solid to get around 20 for him. So I advanced Nico Collins. And obviously, in my head to head matchup, I'm going to get the 4% advance rate Nico Collins in my pod in a head to head. Like, are you kidding me? This was the thing I was the most upset about. I And the more I think about it, like, I don't know how bad that is. Yeah, Nico Puka is really nice. So I think I need Nico to crush, though. I'm weaker at wide receiver overall than he is. And I'm very thin at running back because I lost Connor, I lost Scadaboo. So I have James Cook, Spears, and Dowdle. I'm a huge underdog for this. Also lost Ertz. So, like, I basically need Puka Evans to outscore London Smith and Metcalf. I agree that I mean, is he though? The Bucks defense is really good against running backs. Yeah, like that's the other thing. Like I thought about that as well, but in this specific pod, if Nico bust, he has London, JSN, and Metcalf, and I have Puka, Evans, and Xavier Worthy. I don't think that's my path. I do have Jalen Coker down here though, who I think could be a very I think that could make sense. Um, so I think BBMDB was giving me a 25% chance to advance or a 33% chance to advance out of this. I think it should be closer to 40, but I do agree that I should absolutely be an underdog there. But it's a pretty. He scored 26.1 against Packer defense, which held other. I hope you're right. I have a reasonable I don't have a ton of Rico this week, but I have a decent amount. All right, little board 2. I got one little board 2. It's not a very good team. We'll go through it pretty quick. Yeah, I do actually agree with this. Mahomes is not good at throwing the D ball. Like, he's not been good for 3 years. Minshew will throw some bad balls. And Mahomes has also got Rashee Rice killed twice in back-to-back weeks. So there's that as well. This is my second BTJ team, and my other BTJ. So this is a BTJ Taylor team, which in pre-draft is wild because I pulled Taylor up to the beginning of the draft, or I pulled Thomas up to the beginning of the draft to pair with Taylor to be unique. I didn't even know that was a Week 17 matchup. So this team would be a lot of fun to get to the finals. I just don't love the team overall. Like, because I got Brian Thomas, Jaden Reed, Addison, but Adunze's hurt, Burden's hurt, and then it's Leggett, Diami Brown's hurt, and Horton. So, like, I'm thin at wide receiver here, but Taylor, Jacobs, Jalen Warren does feel pretty good. It's not dead, but if BTJ is an absolute smash, if he goes for 25 and Amon-Ra goes for 18, I could separate a little bit. And it is the only Jonathan Taylor team in the pod. And I do think that Jonathan Taylor has a reasonable chance to smash this week. Yeah, if I took Rico over Samson there, I liked Samson a lot going into the draft. He could not have got much worse of a landing spot, in my opinion. Same with Martinez. But yeah, if I would have taken, overall, I probably don't want JT to smash. But the two pods I have JT in, I'm one of two people with him, or the only one with him. So that does feel fine as well. So that pod also turned out maybe okay. On to my big boards. One of these had BBG in it, I believe. Let's hope history doesn't repeat itself with JT. I mean, if you don't have any, yeah, you absolutely hope that, right? So there's only 2 Gibbs teams in here, and there's only 1 London team, and only 2 Trey McBride teams. So I actually really like this team. It's Gibbs, Chuba, Travion, David Montgomery. It's got Trey McBride. Then wide receivers are London, Devonta Smith, Mooney, Quentin Johnson, who is hurt, Coker, who I took pretty early here, Io Manor, Troy Franklin, MVS, who just kind of got unlocked. So I have some pieces here, but it's a Trey McBride plus Kyle Pitts team is the only reason it advanced. But Travion Gibbs feels awesome. David Montgomery feels fine as well. Once again, this pod feels fine for being able to get through. Is our bet? Yeah. Yeah, like, you have an estimate team? Yeah, I have, I'll bring it up later, but I only have 18 total bullets left, not including the one I have on Spoiled Banana Society. And I made a little spreadsheet on how many of each player I have left. I worked on that earlier today. So this pod has Pat Carrain in it. Another big board. I advanced 4 big boards. It's the contest I'd advanced the most in. There is one team that I absolutely love, it's not projected to do the most, but I do think it's my best chance. Uh, in the big board, he like Pat Carrain ended up with a McBride Chase team here with Marvin Harrison, like in the big board. Got James Cook all the way back with McMillan. Like that's an awesome team. But once again, only Jameer Gibbs team, and there's only two AJ Brown teams here. AJ Brown didn't seem to advance that much, but I don't mind having him. Like I will take Gibbs, Amon, or AJ Brown versus Jefferson for sure. Three bigger and seven big. I advanced the Derek Carr team too. So this team, I believe I'm thin at running back though. Gibbs, Jacobs, and Algier and Tank Bigsby. So it's only got two running backs. Like it's got Jarquez on it, it's got Martinez on it. Like that doesn't feel good. It's also only got Dallas Goedert alive. It just lost Daniel Jones. Its wide receivers are pretty good though. AJ Brown, JMO, Sutton, Jaden Reed, Golden, Josh Downs, Troy Franklin, and MVS. So there's only three Josh Jacobs teams in the pod, and I'm the only Jameer Gibbs team. Yeah, it feels live, but it needs a four wide receiver, which means it basically AJ Brown, JMO, Sutton all have to do something, and then one of Jaden Reed or Matthew Golden needs to do something. Or maybe MVS or Frank. I guess MVS or Franklin could as well. So it doesn't feel that bad. 10th round Swift. Well, that's where he was going. And like Carrain's team is awesome. Like he's got RJ Harvey down here too. He also has Troy Franklin. He got Harold Fannin. Like his team should advance, in my opinion. I don't know what the numbers say, but this team feels like an awesome, awesome team. You got RJ Harvey, you got Jordan Mason, you got Swift, you got Montgomery, you got Cook. Like that's such a solid team. Like I have clear outs. That doesn't mean that I like my chances. Love how the best BBM team advancing. Oh, the only problem is quarterback room consistent Kyler. Oh, that sucks. That feels really bad. I'm assuming two quarterback only then? Uh this is my third Brian Thomas team I advanced, and I ended up in a pod with a solo Achan as well. Yeah, I've seen a lot of solo quarterback teams left. You do. Uh really big. Really, really big. So absolutely clean sweat on both the first 2 round picks on this team. Achan, this is the team I think I have that is awesome. Achan, James Cook, Travion Henderson, Blake Corum, Javonte Williams, and Brashard Smith if he matters. The problem is it's solo Bo Nix, which I'm fine with. Like I actually think Bo Nix is fine this week, and I have him pretty stacked. But I have the Week 17 matchup too. I got Xavier Worthy, Cortland Sutton, Bo Nix, Troy Franklin again. I have Keon, Christian Kirk, Tillman, Deontay Johnson, but Alec Manor. So I feel fine. If Brian Thomas does something, I feel like Sutton and Thomas are pretty safe with the way Thomas started playing now to score a decent amount of points. And I just need one other guy to do well. I'm also the only Colston Loveland team. Yeah, it doesn't feel as good. Like it I love like the running backs are insane, right? Like I think I should get 3 20-point running backs out of this group. Javante, Corum, maybe 17. Uh, James Cook, Achan, Hendo all feel pretty live to get 15 plus fantasy points. So does Javante. Yeah, if RB doesn't hit the flex, this team is probably the lowest scoring team in the pod. Like, if RB doesn't hit the flex, it's the lowest scoring team in the pod. I basically didn't have a third round pick, but Brian Thomas, Sutton, and then like it's just a prayer elsewhere. And with Bo Nix, like I think like Troy Franklin plus Sutton could easily hit the lineup again. They did last week. That's how I advanced. Yeah, I agree. This team feels thin. I like the team a lot because it's a really low owned Brian Thomas and a really good RB room. So if he balls out the next 2 weeks in a row, it has a chance. Like that's the kind of team. It's a thin chance, but all of these best ball is a thin sport, right? Like you're not expected to dominate all the way through. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It really is. Um, thank you, everybody who have come over here to watch. I appreciate it. Ron Stewart in this pod. Uh, I landed a Jamar Chase, Trey McBride team with a bring back in week 17 with Rice and Sutton. The problem went 0 RB. This is a solo Caleb Williams team. What's up, Al Boogie? Looking through my big board pods, and then going to go to the fourth quarter pods after this. And then I'm going to log off and go to Sleaze's channel, I believe. So Quinshon Judkins, Charbonnet, Dowdle, Harvey, Tajay Spears feels fine enough with this wide receiver group. Jamar Chase, DJ Moore, Cortland Sutton, Rashee Rice. I don't want Chalk Rice. But he's not going to be Chalk. He may not play this week. And I think this team has a path to get to the finals. The only McBride team, the only DJ Moore team, and the only there's 2 Cortland Sutton teams. But I don't know. There's no more Harvey in the pod, right? Yeah, there's no other RJ Harvey in the pod. And no other there's no other Rico Dowdle in the pod. So my 0 RBs feel really good in this pod. Like as long as Chase, DJ Moore, McBride all do well like they did last week, I think this team is very solid. Once again, I didn't believe it or not, I didn't draft a whole bunch of Troy Franklin and Cortland Sutton and big board. I had like 6%, but they are like my most advancing players. Like all of the Troy Franklin, Cortland Sutton stuff that I drafted, all advanced, like almost all of it advanced, which is pretty wild. Like, and James Cook. James Cook is my most owned player left right now, and I didn't draft that much of him overall. All right, so this is fourth quarter. This MT guy is in 2 of my pods. This is a solid team. Got my Franklin, Bo, May, Booty, Sacks through. Feel good. In fourth quarter or in BBM? I don't because you advanced a lot of teams. You did a lot better advancing so far than I have, and I assume that that's going to continue because you have way more bullets. Okay. So Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving, Woody Marks, Spears, Corum feels really solid. My wide receiver 1 is also the other Taylor's team wide receiver 1. But we differ after that quite a bit. I end up with stacking Baker with Bucky Irving here. Did I end up taking? I didn't. This must have been drafted before. Yeah, it's Woody Marks in round 7, so this was drafted early in the contest. But Jawan Jennings looks really good right now. Judy feels fine. Flowers, Olave, Malik, Pat Bryant is possibly going to play this week. Yoshi Voss, if Teague is out, is fine, maybe. But Trey McBride, the two of my teams that have Trey McBride all have solo, like they're the only Trey McBride team in the pod. So this team actually feels pretty like it's got a pretty clear path to get there as well. Week 17 matchup, huge. Yeah, oh yeah. That game that's the game you want to be in on, right? Like I said this about a month ago that like because while I was drafting the fourth quarters, I'm like, I kind of feel like sneaking CMC through is going to end up being the answer because week 17, that game, both teams are a lot better at offense than defense. Randomly have Allen Lamar Purdy team. That's awesome. Did you auto draft it or were you just chilling? Hell yeah. Yeah, that is true. So this other team, James Cook, M. Teague is also in this one. James Cook, Jacobs, Chase Brown. I have two teams with this exact 3 running back combo that are left, but I also have Travion. I got Travion in the 6th. This is before he moved up the board in this contest. This team massively needs T. Higgins to play. If T. Higgins plays, I like my chance to advance. If he doesn't play, I do not like my chances to advance. But I got a Drake May team through in fourth quarter, stacked with Travion. And it's got Michael Wilson. Yeah, so yeah, it's fourth quarter. So I ended up getting the T. Higgins, Joe Burrow thing. I took Stroud late just because I wanted 2 quarterbacks for the first early on, but only 4 running backs. Hunter Henry, Isaiah Likely, and Taysom Hill. I took a shot there. It doesn't feel like it's going to work out, but this was this was the first week it opened. The very first week it opened. And before MHA got hurt, I was talking about how the wide receiver 2 is what you want against Cincinnati. So Michael Wilson was one of the best last round picks. I did this on stream. I positive I remember talking about this on stream. But that was before he exploded. Got him in the last round. But low owned players that have moved up: Jaden Higgins, Michael Wilson. Tillman ended up going higher. Juwan Jennings went a little higher at the end. Spike Wheat guys and Pierce, who's probably dead with Rivers. But Shaheed has started to cook now. Like, this team feels fun. This team feels like a lot of fun. Being the only James Cook or Josh Jacobs team also feels really fun, and the only Travion team. So any combination of those 3, I'm probably absolutely cooking, right? Like, but if Puka absolutely nukes, it may not be as good. So the 2 teams with Puka though just lost Devin Neal, most likely. I don't know if he's playing. I don't think he is. I haven't looked for sure. I don't think he's playing at all. So both of those teams losing Neal actually helped me quite a bit. We got 2 more teams to look at, and then I'm gonna I might end up doing another Wildcat. Might not. I do not know. We'll see. Neil can't hold Estime's jockstrap, says Zero. Thanks for your input, sir. Love the input. So here's my my Puka team. Puka, Josh Allen, Bucky Irving, ETN, Pittman, RIP Trey Benson, Kincaid, Pierce, got to Pierce all through. Yeah. Nice. I didn't take any Estime. Ricky Pearsall, Kareem Hunt, and Singletary, Parker Washington, and Jerry Judy feel pretty good, and John Mechie. Uh, the problem is that it's only Josh Allen because this was also the first. So almost all of my. So we'll go here. If you look at the teams that I advanced, the first two were done on the day it opened, or the second week, because I put the date. So 11/12 is when I drafted those, and then this one that we're looking at now, I drafted on 11/21. That's why I was in on Mechie at that point. But it was like I remember drafting this team. It was like a couple hours before Shadur got named the starter, I believe. So there is that. And then the last team to look at. So like for me, the teams I have that are alive, I drafted earlier. So Jamar Chase, Josh Jacobs, once again, the only Jacobs team in the pod. This is a double stack Cincinnati team. Joe Burrow, Chase, Higgins. I believe, I pulled Michael Wilson way up. So I have that game stack. I remember forcing that. Got Kenneth Gainwell share here. So the running backs are thin, but it's Jacobs, Demont, Aaron Jones, Kenneth Gainwell, then Ollie Gordon and Jaleel, like fine darts. Quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, T-Law, feels fine. Colson Loveland, Bretton Strange, and Gesicki is a nice combination there, but RIP Roma Dunze, but we have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Jacoby, Michael Wilson, and John Mechie again. So I feel fine enough about this team. We have, if Kyron Williams flops, I kind of feel pretty good about my chances here. I think that I'm getting a feeling that the Bengals are going to go out and like put up a whole bunch of points this week. You forgot when you opened but you drafted 5 bullets day one. Yeah, that's what I did. The day it opened, the first week it opened, I drafted 5, and then the next week I drafted 5, and then the next week I drafted. It was like, okay, it looks like it's going to fill the following week, so I drafted like 10 or 12, and then the last week I drafted like 20 some. If he plays, it's Alvin Kamara smash week against the Jets in the Dome. I mean, if he plays, I wouldn't be taking him yet in the dailies. I would just wait till Sunday. It's not like his ADP is going to be now. If you're doing 12 mans, taking him makes sense, but I would just wait until you find out. It's not like Alvin Kamara is going to become a 3rd round pick. Got unlucky with Dobbins share. Yeah, I got a Dobbins share before the injury. I actually drafted. I was way overweight to Mike Evans in the 3rd quarter, right before his injury. So like that's part of the game though. So that's what we have here. I think I have an okay chance to advance two of my 17 teams. I would like if I get 3 teams to the finals based on having 17 or so by BBM DB odds. What? Hold on. What did I do? I clicked a button I hadn't clicked before. There we go. So it's expecting me to get 2 through overall. If I can get 3, I'm going to feel very good. And this is without the 4th quarter. So if I can get 2 of these and a 4th quarter, I'm going to feel really good. If I get more than that, if I get 3 of these or 2 4th quarters and 2 of these, I'm going to be pretty happy with the way that this week works. Like, I'll be very sad if this team that's going against no tight end loses because Puka absolutely nukes, but he nukes and none of my Puka teams get through because I like this team a lot. Like a Jaden Blue share as well. Like if Javante plays this week and ends up getting hurt and Jaden Blue has a chance to play in week 17 against the Commanders, that could be insane. Uh, but anyway, I am going to join a Wildcat right now on my phone. Anybody who wants to join, go ahead. And after the Wildcat, I am going to I'm probably gonna log off. Um so I I'm gonna guess it's like close to 50% accurate, something like that. Yeah, it's just median projection. Like it doesn't take into effect like uh how likely a player is to actually score super high as often. I don't even know where they use their projections from. I know a lot of people think that it's wrong. I hope he's wrong too, because I hope I get 11 teams through. It ain't gonna happen. I don't think there's a possible way for me to get that many teams through. Actually, while we're here, share screen, window, this one. All right, so right here, this right here is my total exposures left. Um, we're waiting on one for the Wildcat, by the way. So the injured play, I got 5 Scadaboo teams through. I've got 5 Scadaboo teams through, guys. Still, I 5 of them are alive. Feels really bad against the Raiders. When Tyrone Tracy's going to nuke that week. So I've got 17 teams. 8 of them are James Cook. I only drafted like 6% James Cook. So that feels a little weird. A bunch of Travion. I didn't draft a whole lot of Josh Jacobs, but a lot of my Josh Jacobs shares are also in the fourth quarter. 2 of them are. I have a bunch of Drake May, which makes sense. He was my most owned quarterback. And Loveland was a higher, like these were 2 of my higher, actually, my tight ends that are advancing are kind of my higher owned tight ends overall. But 5 shares of Troy Franklin, and I didn't take very much of him. And 4 shares of Cortland Sutton, I didn't take a whole lot of him. So it feels kind of weird that that's what ended up happening. But I just kind of did that to give myself a thing to look at when bad things happen to see how cooked I am. We got Aaron Sandy at the 102, 0 at the 103. I'm at the 104. Deal me in at the 106. We got good luck to everybody. And by the way, good luck to everybody. I'll stream tomorrow. I'll probably just do drafts tomorrow. I'm planning on next week. I'm going to be doing a lot of work to my channel. For sure. I've got everything else kind of figured out. I mean, you do what you want to do. Like, I think there's arguments to take one of the wide receivers high. I'm not going to be doing it. I'm going to be taking. I'm not going to be taking them like ahead of Bijan or Gibbs, like. And I don't want 0 Jamar Chase, but I do actually prefer Amon Ra. But we're going to go ahead and Yeah, I have Bijan. I was debating on who I wanted at 101. I think all three are very worthy. I do think that Bijan should be the 101. Looking at team total and everything, like where is Drake London? Like Atlanta's 25.8. I know that the Lions are projected for like almost 30 points, but it they have so many mouths to feed. And Pitt, like Kyle Pitts is probably not going to do very much this week. Like uh, a ceiling of like 13, 14 points if London plays. Now, if London doesn't play, he could just nuke again. Like that is very possible. We will go ahead and take James Cook. I'm going to end up taking a whole bunch of James Cook in these earlier drafts that I'm doing, and I will expose away from him later in the week. But I've only done a couple drafts, so yeah. But London was out, right? London was out in almost all those games. Um, the one game London got hurt in, and then he missed two. Correct. Uh, and those are the games that the target share are that high because they run a system that targets wider, like it's first read target share stuff, right? Like they just throw it to the first read or throw it away a lot of the time. Well, right, yeah, yeah. There's no guarantee, but if London is back, they're at least going to attempt that, right? They're going to attempt to make him the guy again because that's what they do. He is their guy. I mean, I'll take Josh Allen if like there's absolutely no way I'm going to be taking Kyle Pitts at this ADP. Um, like absolutely no way. This this feels really good. This feels really good. So I don't know how I want to screw this draft up though. Like, what do I do now? Oh, part of the plan. I mean, I don't hate Josh Allen. I ended up being wrong in pre-draft because he ended up being the better pick of all the players. But I don't know. I don't know if that's really the case because Fannin was the player I was going to play as a run back. By the way, if he came back around, but I kind of think Fannin's tied in too as well. I just wasn't gonna like since I've already got ADP values, I wasn't gonna give up the ADP value of Javante there. Um, but if Lamar doesn't get hurt or Jaden Daniels doesn't get hurt, maybe they are good. Like that's not the world we lived in, right? So it's Josh Allen ended up being the best pick of the elite quarterbacks. I don't know if he would have been had the other two not have been hurt. Uh, I think it's likely that he would have been, but we don't know for sure. And I'm also curious on Rashee Rice now. Um, he took Metcalf there. Um, I might reach down to get. I'm going to go ahead and take Jefferson. Yeah, your team's awesome. As long as Deal Me In doesn't take your quarterback here. Yeah, and I'm hoping I can get. I remembered that Trey McBride went there. Um, man, it feels like they're very close with Jefferson. Like, I feel like as soon as Jefferson has the Zero's about to take naked Shadur. I think Deal Me In may listen. I don't know. I've seen him in a couple of my drafts as well. But yeah, I mean, it may be that I just take the Bowers, right? Like, do I? I'm just gonna take Bowers, honestly. I I'm just gonna go ahead and take Bowers. Uh, nice. Yeah, I Tyler Shuck has actually been really good. Uh, he's what, about 20 around 20 fantasy points every week. Yeah, like I like Gadsden more, but I think Bowers makes more sense to get the unique combo there. Like I feel like this isn't going to get replicated. Like just the top 3 picks probably don't get replicated. But because I had that, I might as well take the Bowers with it as well. But anyway, I will be back live tomorrow at 4 p.m. I'll see everybody later. Good luck in news leading up until tomorrow and through the weekend. I need personally T. Higgins to play. I don't know what you guys need. I really think I need T. Higgins to play. Of my stuff, I have 4 of my 17 teams have T. Higgins on it. So that is 25% of my portfolio is dependent upon T. Higgins playing or not. I'm sure some of you are in the opposite to where none of your T advanced. What I need is for T to play. And I'm rooting for I'm rooting for you guys second and me first. That's how this works. Peace, everybody. Have a great day. I'm out.